Hello, I'm Ollie. Welcome to Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you can learn about using modal verbs to express ability. If you don't know what modal verbs are or why you should care about them, watch this lesson, which gives you an introduction to the topic. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on using the verbs can and could to talk about ability. You will also learn about the verbs be able to and managed to. These verbs are not modal verbs, but we can't use can or could in every situation to talk about ability, so we sometimes need to use a different non-modal verb. First of all, let's look at using can and could to talk about ability. You can use can to talk about abilities in the present or the future. For example, she can speak Spanish very well. Or, can you come with us on Saturday? You can also use could to talk about general abilities in the past. For example, I could run much faster when I was younger. When I was younger is a general ability, so I could run faster any time I wanted. She could play the violin when she was a child. Again, this is a general ability about a longer period in the past. This is quite simple and I'm sure you're familiar with it. However, there are many situations where you can't use can or could to talk about abilities, and we need to use a different verb. One of these verbs is be able to. Generally, can and be able to have the same meaning, so you can usually use either verb without any difference in meaning. She can speak Spanish very well, or she's able to speak Spanish very well. These two sentences have the same meaning. I could run much faster when I was younger, or I was able to run much faster when I was younger. Again, there's no difference in meaning between these two sentences. However, you can't use can or could in every verb tense. If you want to use, for example, the present perfect form, there's no form of can or could which you can use. So in these cases, you need to use a form of be able to. For example, he's been able to swim since he was 2 years old. There's no way to use can or could in this sentence and keep the same meaning. We have to use be able to. I like being able to choose my own working hours. After the verb like, we need a verb with ing, so we need to use be able to. Again, there's no way to use can or could in this sentence. There are many cases like this. Generally, if you have a choice, it's better to use can or could because it makes your sentence simpler and shorter. We sometimes choose to use be able to, even when can or could are possible, because it sounds more formal. Okay, now let's look at ability in the past. Could versus be able to. This gets a little bit more complicated. Let's look at an example sentence. The traffic was really bad, but we could catch our train. Does it sound right to you? What do you think? If you said it sounds wrong, you're actually correct. This sentence is not right, it's not possible. Do you know why? The answer is, this sentence is talking about a specific ability at a specific moment in the past. In this case, you can't use could. You need to use a different verb. You could say, the traffic was really bad, but we were able to catch our train. Or, the traffic was really bad, but we managed to catch our train. In both of these sentences, we're talking about one moment. One train. It's a specific situation. That means we can't use could. We must use be able to or managed to. Let's look at some more examples. It was hard work, but we managed to finish everything on time. That means we finished something specific at a specific moment. Our car broke down on the way, but luckily I was able to fix it. I fixed it at a specific moment. It wasn't a general thing. There's one more important point here, which makes it even a little bit more complicated. This difference between general and specific situations only applies to positive sentences. If your sentence is negative, there's no difference between could and be able to. It's like most other cases, you can choose which verb to use and it doesn't matter. It was hard work and we couldn't finish everything on time. Or, it was hard work and we weren't able to finish everything on time. Because these sentences are negative, it doesn't matter if the situation is general or specific. It's now possible to use both forms, couldn't or weren't able to. Again, there's no difference in meaning in this case. So, to review, can or could and be able to generally have the same meaning unless you're talking about a specific situation in the past and the sentence is positive. If you're not sure about this, remember you can always use be able to in every case and never be wrong. Next, let's look at could in more detail. Could has two meanings. Look at two sentences. I couldn't help you because I had too much to do. I couldn't help you even if I wanted to. In these two sentences, the verb could is used in different ways. Can you see the difference? Here's a question to check your understanding. How would you use be able to in these two sentences? If you want to think about your answer, pause the video and think about it. In the first sentence, I couldn't help you because I had too much to do. The meaning is past. If we used be able to, we would say, I wasn't able to help you because I had too much to do. In the second sentence, could has a hypothetical or conditional meaning. To use be able to, we would say, I wouldn't be able to help you even if I wanted to. So, could can have two different meanings, a past meaning and a hypothetical meaning. You need to use the context of the sentence or the situation to understand what could means. For example, why couldn't he do it last week? The time marker last week shows you that this sentence is past and that could has a past meaning. We could work together if you wanted. Again, the end of the sentence with if, this shows you that could has a hypothetical meaning. Okay, let's review the important points from this lesson. You can use can or could to talk about abilities in the past, present, or future. Can or could and be able to usually have the same meaning. Sometimes you need to use be able to, for example, if you need to use a verb with ing, or if you need to use the present perfect tense, or some other tense where can or could don't exist. In the past, could and was or were able to are sometimes different. If you're talking about a specific situation and the sentence is positive, you can only use was or were able to or managed to. Finally, could can have two different meanings. It can have a past meaning, the same as was or were able to, or it can have a hypothetical meaning, like would be able to. Okay, that's the end of the lesson. I hope it was useful for you. If you want to see the full version of this lesson, you can check it out on our website. The full lesson includes a text, so you can read and review everything. There's also a quiz to help you practice the topic and check that you've understood everything. Okay, that's all. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.